they just don't come any better than Dan Brooks. And first thing he said was, I don't plan on being at the banquet. It's typical Dan Brooks fashion. I said, well, when's the banquet? And he said, it's Monday night of the national championship. I said, well, I hope you ain't there either. So, but just really happy for Dan. I'm serious. He's unbelievable. Just person, coach, father, husband, you name it. It is. Been in this business a long time, and I've never met anyone finer. So, just happy for him and very, very well deserving.
It's the night of the national championship.
That's what he said. It's at they do it at the convention, and so I guess they do it that Monday night. The convention's going on when the national championship time is.
Coach, any update on Richard Garrigan, his status, and
Richard will be out.
Okay.
He'll be out. He and Scott will be out this week, and so nothing's changed there. John will be with us, so he's done well. He's done really well. So
after Artavis' performance on punt returns, I'm assuming he's going to be in there to start at punt returns again. Okay.
Yep.
I didn't get to watch the Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech. What happened to Virginia Tech's offense in that game? Just from your,
I mean, they just did a great job in defending what they do. They had got a big lead early. I think there was a couple turnovers. I think it was 20-0.
Yeah.
And so that kind of changed the dynamics of the game pretty quickly early in the game. I think that was the biggest issue, was they got down fast, and I don't think they were able to stay in the rhythm of their game plan. They just played extremely well. And it was just they were the better team that day, and that's all that matters. But they bounced back and went on and did a great job. Beating Notre Dame and Virginia to finish it up there. I mean, he did a great job.
You've won 4 straight times in the state of Florida. Is that a benefit at all in recruiting down there? Or have you gotten to the point where you're beyond that? The word's out on Clemson down there anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think we, regardless of whether we won 4 times or what, I mean, we've been recruiting Florida for a long time and recruited well. I think that's the biggest thing is we have a strong brand in the state, and guys have come here and had great success and graduated and so forth, and that's the main thing. And they've had a good experience, and so that's resonated. Had we lost one of those games, I don't think that would change it. We got beat at Florida State this year. I don't think that would have changed any. We got kids that we're recruiting down there right now that are coming to Clemson, or going to come to Clemson, and I mean, it definitely doesn't hurt. It's always a plus, but I think that our brand in the state of Florida is very, very strong and has been for a long time.
I asked Brent yesterday, how do you try to emulate Bucky Hodges, and he says we can't. So when you get a guy like that, you got to go up against. How do you try to prepare for a guy like that who's 6'7"?
Go get one of them basketball guys, I guess, and bring him out here. But he's a big, long guy. You just do the best you can. I mean, at the end of the day, the ball goes up, and you still have to play with good technique and attack the ball at the high point, and those are 50-50 type plays when you got those one-on-one matchups and balls put up in the air, and you just got to win your share of them, a little bit more than your share from our perspective defensively. And then offensively, we got to win more than our share on that side. It's the same thing, but you just got to play with great technique, and hopefully you can win at the line of scrimmage, and not allow them to get in rhythm and get comfortable, get clean, free releases and things like that, so where he can get down the field. I think that's the first thing you try to do. But he's really good. I mean, he's made one-handed catches. He's had a little bit of everything all year long, and they're a lot like us in that they're going to take those one-on-one matchups, and there will be opportunities that will be presented, just like we'll have opportunities that presented, and that's what football comes down to ultimately is. Who wins those matchups, who wins those competitive plays when they present themselves. So, we just practice hard and work on our technique, work on high pointing balls and things like that, because that's the main thing. When you're playing and it's normal route running and things like that, then it's being where you're supposed to be and timing of things up front, disrupting rhythm. But when it's those 50-50 balls outside that just go up, you just got to do the best job that you can and playing good technique.
I guess you'll line up
split out as well as closer to the line of scrimmage. Do you expect to see him
Yeah.
on the boundary more just with his
I think they'll
size?
put him. I think they'll put him anywhere. You know, and that number one he's really good. He's a really good player. They'll put him all over the place too. So they've got plenty of skill. That's one of the reasons they're in this championship game. I mean, they got a very good quarterback that everything runs through from a decision making standpoint. Run game, run pass options, and then he'll take those matchups. They do a great job with their play actions, but he'll take those one-on-ones between the tight end and those three receivers and the backs that they have in there, they roll in. I mean, he's got a good supporting cast, and that's a nice security blanket when you got a 6'7" guy out there that you got a chance to, for him to bail you out. They've done a nice job. I mean, one is an excellent route runner. He's a really good route runner, and 7 is he's a good route runner, but he's more stretch the field guy and put it up there where only he can go. But you still gotta have the right time, and you still gotta make the proper throws. There's a lot that goes into it. But he's a definite weapon. There's no question.
Evans, he looks to run more than maybe any quarterback you've seen this year, other than Jackson. Though they're very different builds, different types of quarterbacks. Anybody this year or past years you can use to simulate?
Well, like I said, he reminds me of Taj. As far as just his ability his size, his thickness, and how they run it. They run in between the tackles. I mean, he runs the zone read stuff, but they're running quarterback power a lot, quarterback counter, jet motion, power. And he's reading that stuff. He's giving it, or he's pulling it, and he's running the power. You split your defense, guards pulling around, and they do an excellent job with that. That's just what they do. And then the play actions that come off of it, which forces you, if you get too aggressive, now all of a sudden that guy's been coming out and blocking you. Boop, he slipped in behind you, and he's pulled up, and he's thrown over the top. So they know what they're doing. They got a good plan. But he's similar to Taj as far as his ability, his running ability. Very similar. Thick, strong runner. He's not a burner like Lamar. I mean, Lamar is, like chasing Usain Bolt out there. I mean, he's fast. But this kid runs well. He's athletic and he's smart. He's a smart runner. He knows how to use his blocks when they run those counters and how to get in. He's patient, sets them up, and gets inside them. He's very, very effective. Very, very effective.
Aside from Coach Venables, I'm assuming that Zarek is simulating him on the scout team.
No, just Jimmy Green Beans this week. That's it. Just Jimmy Green Beans. It's so funny. We were coming in on game day on Saturday. We were literally coming in on game day, and we'd come around up by the Hendricks Center, and we'd come down, and we're going to take a right on perimeter, and I swear on the corner, there's a fan, and he's standing up, and he has authentic Clemson jersey, and on the back it says Jimmy Green Beans. And I just fell out laughing. Brent was sitting right next to me. I was like, "Hey man, there you go, big game today." It was so funny. So, yeah, he's getting better. He's getting better. He's getting better.
Coach Saban made some noise using former players. I think it was Trent Richardson to simulate Leonard Fournette in practice. Would you, or have you considered that? Or would you ever consider using?
We've already done it.
How you doing?
Yeah, we brought in Taj and Jacoby for the Florida State game, and I just never asked. Yeah.
Is that new this year?
Yeah, it's new because I didn't know you could do that. So yeah, we actually brought in Taj and Jacoby in for that Florida State game, but that's the only time we've done it. I've been trying to talk, DeAndre McDaniel to get out there, and Danny Pearman to give us a little scout tight end work. Some of those guys, but I hadn't had any takers yet.
Could you do it through bowl season through December?
I think you can do it anytime. It's just, I think it just is.
Circumstances.
It's got to be occasional. It can't be every day. I mean, it's maybe once a week or every couple of weeks or something like that. So, yeah, but we have not we haven't gotten into it other than that one time.
A, do you expect that to be more prominent? And B, do you expect the NCAA to?
Probably one of the things that the loophole that they closed real tight at some point. I think it was more for basketball, because you get a lot of guys that will come back and guys that want to get into the pickup games or practice. It's different. Basketball is obviously different than football from a practice standpoint, but I think it was more for that. But somehow somebody found that loophole, and hey, nobody's breaking a rule. it is what it is. But I wouldn't be surprised if somebody, you know, put some glue in there or something, close that hole. But we'll see. I have no idea.
We're getting ready for a basketball game in here tonight. Obviously, the renovations over at Little John have been a tremendous benefit for Coach Brownell and his recruiting. How much of the benefit is that for your recruiting? I know you take recruits to a basketball game or two during the off season.
It's just awesome. I mean, I'm so happy for them. I really am. I mean, in fact, I'm going to try to get over there. Probably I won't make the tip off, but I'm going to try to get over there at some point tonight and support those guys a little bit. But I'm so happy for our men and women. You know, the basketball program just it is a long time coming, and you know, we're not just a school that plays basketball anymore. You know, you show up and you go through that and you see what they have now. I mean, we're a legit program, and it's just awesome because, you know, the job that Brad has done has been remarkable, in my opinion, with all the tools that he's had, with what he's competing against. And, you know, to see the investment and to see how it turned out, I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, it is big. I don't know all the basketball facilities, obviously, I haven't been, but I'm telling you, it is beautiful. And they did a great job, and you can just see the pride in the players. And I actually had a chance to go over and visit with the girls team, and just everybody just has this spirit to them, you know, and they're all together. And I mean, it's just where they can really build a culture. It just matters. And, you know, for the coaches and their recruiting efforts, when they bring people in here, it screams commitment. And because it's hard when you got a guy you're recruiting at this school and they go to that school and there's just better facilities. And facilities shouldn't always be the reason that somebody chooses a school, but it certainly helps. You know, especially with where we were, because we were way behind in basketball, and this puts us up there where we can compete, and I think the coaches will do the rest, and I mean, our team, like even the guys we've already gotten, I mean, even when they just started talking about it, I think it made a difference for them, and now that they actually have something to bring people to, because now when you go over there, it's an experience. You're just not going to a basketball game. I mean, that club level that they build and the stuff underneath, and for the fans and for recruiting and where they can entertain, and I mean, it is spectacular. I'm just thrilled. Really happy for them.
Yesterday during your press conference, you made a comment that you don't want fans to start taking ACC championships for granted. What did you mean by that? Is that?
Well, I was just saying, you know, I hope we have a great crowd. You know, I hope that we don't just get complacent and say, oh, well, we'll go win that game, and you know, let's think about the next one. No, this is the biggest game of the year. You know, and I hope people will appreciate what this team has done, and because it is so hard. You know, we don't just, you know, it's one thing to have an expectation. It's another thing to have an appreciation. And I think our fans, and I think that's one of the things that sets Clemson apart, is there's always been that appreciation, a genuine appreciation for each other, for the role that everybody plays. And you know, I know that it's a game that's been moved and all of that, and probably some frustration with that stuff. But at the end of the day, man, we're playing for a championship, and I just you know, I don't want anybody to ever get complacent with that. And like, that's not that there's bigger fish to fry. No, there's not. We ain't worried about nothing. The biggest game is this game and winning this conference. Anything that comes after that, hey, we'll deal with it. But just putting our best foot forward, and that's really all I'm saying. Just make, you know, hopefully again that we have a great turnout, and that everybody's excited to be there. I guarantee you, Virginia Tech's going to be excited to be there, and you know, I want our fans to be the same way. And I'm sure we'll have a great crowd. We always do, but obviously it's not in Charlotte, and that was the main message there.
Do you think with the advent of the playoff, the conference championships have almost been like the appetizer, the warm-up to the playoff?
I think it's another level of the playoff. It's the first round of the playoffs. You know, I mean, legitimately, that's what I like about what we have right now, is every game matters. Some people want to go to 8, and you can argue for all that, but I think if you go to 8, then it gets watered down. Now the season's not quite as important. Now every game's not quite as important. Well, we lost a couple. That's okay. We're playing for the playoffs. You know, I'm not a fan of that. You know, I like the BCS, even though that's hard. You know, it's harder to win a national championship. It's easier to win it with 4. It'll be even easier with 8. You know, you got more of an opportunity to be there. I mean, our 2013 team probably could have beat anybody in the country. Nobody want to play Clemson in 2013. I promise you. And you know, we might have had a chance, but you know, I mean, I think that if you expanded it, then the conference championship games would be just that, not as relevant, and that's sad. I think it should matter. I like the fact that in college football, every game is critical. I mean, it matters all year, and that's why it's so hard. It's so hard to win a championship. But you know, I think for me, we already have the playoffs because every game counts. You get to the conference championship, that's a playoff. You better win it. You get to the playoff, that's a playoff, and then you got to get to the champ. I mean, it's like, you know, it's hard to do. And I think we've got a good situation. I think that obviously there's always debate. You can go to 8 and then they'll be arguing about 9 and 10, and it's never going to end. You know, I still like the fact that we have great bowl games, and people can end their season with a win and have momentum and some positive energy going into their spring and recruiting and things like that. I think that's great, and I would hate to see all that go away. But you know, it is what it is. You know, but right now, with the system that we have, absolutely, I think the conference championships matter. That's what's been demonstrated in the previous years, that they matter. And you know, I know we got a little unusual situation this year. We'll see how it all plays out, but you know, I think they're of high importance. I think that's why the Big 12 is talking about, aren't they going to add one? For that reason, it's that one more game they get left out. You know, so I think it definitely does. But who knows what's down the road and the landscape and all that. But I know this: I'm excited to be able to, you know, play for the overall champion of this league. That's what we all set out to do. And anything after that is we'll take it as it comes.
All set?
Okay.